Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about a stock that is about to make a huge move tomorrow, and we're going to address the AI companies, especially MU, since it had earnings today. All right, so let's dive into the charts. Right off the bat, we got the SPY futures, and in the last video that I released on, I think I released it on Monday night, I told y'all to be very careful and cautious about the potential double top. And moments after I released that video, maybe like 2 or 3 hours afterwards, the market just plunged and it went all the way down from 75.44 all the way down to 74.20ish or 2400, 7400, I mean. Right, so it had a big dump at that moment. Right now, as of right now, the bears took over the indices, especially the SPY. The double top is still in play, which was the original thesis. Same thing can be said about the Nasdaq, right? And this one, the gap at the bottom got filled. We went all the way down to below 30K on the Nasdaq, right? And right now, it's at exactly 30K. The bears are still in control of the Nasdaq futures. And we'll see how everything opens up tomorrow. The reaction to MU was positive, which is why this candle ended up closing above 30,000. But now, again, the resistance is still there. The price is below it. And there is room underneath. Okay? So we'll see what happens. I'm leaning more bearish. I think we're going to fall. I think we're going to go down and test 2900 either tomorrow afternoon or maybe by Friday. That's what I'm expecting. Maybe things can change, but again, for the sake of this video, I am leaning more bearish, and I will explain why. Now, the stock that is about to make a huge move before we look at the MU chart, that stock is going to be Apple. And I want to share Apple with y'all for two simple reasons. First and foremost, massive push from 250 all the way up to 317. Bears took over the stock since the beginning of June. It sold off a little bit all the way down to 290. And now it's looking like a dead cat bounce. The bears are in control of Apple at the moment. One problem that Apple took care of was this gap right here on the left. That got taken care of last week, which is great. All right. Now, the next problem to watch out for is the gap at the bottom all the way down to 271. I'm not saying that we're going to drop down to 271 tomorrow. That would be epic, not gonna lie. All right. Eventually, it's going to get down there. Again, just like I mentioned with Google, eventually it's going to drop down to like 300. All right. But with Apple, I'm not sure exactly how fast we're gonna drop, but I am bearish on the stock and I think it's going to fall. Therefore, it is good enough for me to share it in this video. First reason was this one. Second reason is this. When we go onto the 1 hour, now let me zoom out real quick. So this is the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, there's a bear flag on the chart. Maybe I'm gonna draw it this way. There you go. That's actually better. Yeah, so there's the bear flag right there with resistance at the top at 300 right there. Short sellers located here and here and here again, right? It rejected 300 so many times, and the fourth time yesterday. And again, it tried to get to 300, but it got sold off again, right? So the situation is looking very weak for Apple. Extremely weak for it. And now today we got the breakdown with significant volume, which I like. All right. And with this breakdown, watch it for a drop. The 4 hour looks very good. It's finally 8 p.m. and a new 4 hour candle opened. So with this breakdown, tomorrow is Thursday. By Friday, and I'm going to say Monday. Yeah, somewhere right here. I think by Monday, it should get down there. Again, it all depends on how fast it wants to drop. But the setup is there and I like it. And the breakdown happened actually intraday. not just on the 4-hour, but also on the 5-minute. On the 5-minute chart, there was something there. Yeah, there's a descending triangle on the chart. If I clean up the chart completely, or I just remove this line, there is a descending triangle on the chart, and the breakdown happened in the last 5 minutes. Right here, right below 294, right? So what's happening right now in after hours doesn't surprise me one bit. So for tomorrow, how low can it really go? I think 286, maybe 284. Like somewhere around here wouldn't be too much to ask for Apple before we see some type of bounce from short sellers covering. Okay, so watch Apple for that kind of drop, for that kind of move. Now let's talk about the AI companies, as the title says. First and foremost, MU. And was I expecting a move like that? No, I wasn't. I was actually leaning bearish, and I had FOMO. Okay, I had FOMO, and I bought puts on AMD. Took a small position on AMD. Those might get might get cooked tomorrow. It depends on how we open. It depends on how we open. But they're gonna be down at market open for sure. For sure. But with MU right now, we have the gap down from Tuesday, right? From Monday to Tuesday. The positive reaction from earnings. Again, they beat earnings by like 20% on the EPS and by 10% on the revenue. Right, they exceeded all expectations. So the stock is gonna open around 1192. What I'm expecting for this one is for the MU puts to be down by like 90% out the gates. Okay, and then I expect MU to provide a day trading opportunity above 1100 for the drop all the way down to like 1098. Something like this is what I'm expecting before we continue even lower on Thursday and on Friday, right? So be on the lookout for that type of move. Be on the lookout for that. If that doesn't happen and it shows massive strength and it gives like, let's say it gives like a doji, the short sellers are not gonna like it, and this thing will be ready to make like a new high, which will, again, it will surprise me given the fact that we look like this on a daily. Like the stock is really high, and the positive reaction to me is just taking care of business up top before fading down and taking care of the gaps at the bottom, right? So that's my thoughts on MU. Now, quick up. Let's talk about one more stock. Google bounced at 340. It went all the way up to 252. The bears are still in control, and then after hours it's down by $2. And again, if what I said about the Nasdaq comes to pass, and the bears really pile onto the market and we fall, this thing is going to slowly fall lower, down to 330. Take care of that little gap right here at 320, and then eventually, we will see a $300 per share Google in the near future, right? Eventually. Now let's do a little recap. Let's see what happens with my trades. All right. So this is what happened yesterday. I told y'all that I had that I bought calls on IWM between Friday and Monday. Now after making money on that and collecting, what I did was I bought puts on the video, right? For the same reason that I shared the video yesterday about Hood stock. Like Hood and Nvidia had the same exact structure. I like them both, and yes, I did buy them both. But for this one specifically, I put Nvidia in here because I figured it was the best stock and it could pay the most. And I ended up selling all of my put options at $200 per share after the massive gap down between Monday and Tuesday. All right. And now after this is the setup that I was trying to take advantage of with AMD. But unfortunately for me, the reaction to MU was positive. And right now, AMD is somewhere around like, it's back up to resistance. That upper line of resistance at 530. Let me show y'all. So let's dive into AMD. So AMD looks like this, and the structure that I was, I guess, a bit too early on, which is fine. I had FOMO. It was like either not get involved and potentially miss out if MU had a massive negative reaction, right? Or take a loss on a small position, knowing that it's gonna fall anyways, and then take advantage of the day trade tomorrow. All right, so I had to do it. I had to gamble on this one. I usually tell y'all do not gamble through earnings, and I just couldn't fight the FOMO. All right, but we'll see what happens. Again, if this thing opens right here at 522, and it starts to fall out the gates, like immediately starts falling out the gates in the first 5 minutes, those contracts that I have, those put options that I have on AMD, I'm gonna continue to hold as long as it doesn't show any strength. All right, as long as it continues to fall lower, I might even add, depending on if it gives any intraday structure to take advantage of, kind of like what it did today. Like something like that could happen tomorrow, maybe a little bit smaller. That way we can get a breakdown earlier in the morning. This one happened near noon. All right, so a situation like this could happen again, followed, and then what could happen after that could be a massive drop all the way down to where I really think it can go, which is all the way down to 450. All right, so I'm not too mad at this. Again, I told everybody in the Discord, we'll see what happens. Let's just see how it opens. All right, let's just see how this thing opens. Now, that's my very honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. Again, I am not your financial advisor. Do your own research and make your own decisions. All right, if you disagree with anything that I've mentioned in this video, I will meet you in the comment section and we can argue down there. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Patternology Lab on Instagram and on X. And lastly, don't forget to like and follow for more.